We are going to give it a haircut, much like you and I get at the barbershop, except for I'm not a certified cosmetologist, I'm a certified plantotologist, which is not a real thing. Look at what we have here, guys. I was at a seed swap up in Orange County a couple weeks ago, and I got this sad looking snake plant, and we're gonna see if we can bring it back to life. We're gonna see if we can revive it, and in this video I'm gonna take you through, let's say you get a sick, deadly, dying plant under your care. What's the protocol? What do you actually go through? So I'm gonna go through my step-by-step process of looking at this plant, analyzing it, taking care of it, making some corrections, and eventually getting it up to speed again. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching. So we already know this is gonna come out of its pot. We need to look at the roots. That's my first little diagnosis that I like to make. And so we're gonna get a little messy here. We're just gonna pop this out of its pot. A lot of the times you see plants like this have more than one plant crammed together. So we're gonna see if that's the case here. It looks like we definitely have some new offshoots coming out right here. So you can see here on the camera, you can see some new offshoots coming out right here. So potentially we could split those off. There's another one right here, there's another one right here, and then we have our main stem, which is pretty much all of this right here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some pruning cuts on some of these leaves. Anything that's dead, diseased, or dying has to go. So that's step number one. We'll put it in its old pot right here. So that's step number one. And as you're doing this, you get to make little examinations on the plant. Like here's an area where probably a cat got to it or something like that. And there's also a crack halfway up the leaf right here. So there's no point in keeping this, in my view, just for aesthetics and function of the plant. We might as well just take it off. So we'll take that off. These super long overgrown floppers we're gonna take off. We are going to give it a haircut, much like you and I get at the barbershop, except for I'm not a certified cosmetologist, I'm a certified plantotologist, which is not a real thing. I do not hold any plant specific certifications, but we're coming through and we're just taking this off, and I'm doing it because these leaves are just, look at this piece of trash. It's just pathetic. So we're taking it off and we're gonna give this plant the ability to kind of get a fresh start. Any of these like really bent and broken leaves, and a lot of this ends up being that lower growth. So we're coming through and really like this, it just doesn't look that good. Although the leaf isn't exceptionally unhealthy, I'm still gonna take it off. And you know, you don't have to only take off things that are diseased or damaged. You can take off something that just aesthetically isn't quite to your tastes. This one just accidentally pulled out. I may try to root this in water. So this one, I don't know if I quite cut it at the right point, but I might be able to root in water. So we'll keep that around for safekeeping. So now look, we're already looking at a bit more of a sculpted plant here, but still you're getting some weird bends and some shaping that I don't quite enjoy. So I'm gonna come through and take a little bit more out. Our next step is to analyze the root structure of the plant. Are there any serious issues with root rot or compaction or anything like that? And if that's the case, certainly we want to take care of that as soon as possible, because that's just going to lead to this exact same problem repeating itself. So it looks like we got a decent little bit of potting soil here. I'm looking at the bottom. I'm not seeing drastic root coiling at the bottom. So you can see the really thick tuberous style root here, as well as these smaller roots. It doesn't look so bad, honestly. And I'm actually pretty stoked about the health of the root system. So the plant itself looks pretty decent. The one thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna isolate this mother by itself in its new pot, and I'm not going to allow these to grow with it. So I'm gonna separate these out. We might throw these in my water propagation system, although they already do have roots, or we may just pot those up in a smaller pot. So this is kind of like a cleaning little process you can do with your plants. And I am gonna come through and just take a little bit more of this plant matter out, just to give it a nice little polish. So you can imagine now, if we were to separate this out and put this into its final pot over here, we're gonna have a nice little sculpted plant that already looks a lot better. So I'm just gonna pull these out, and you know, snake plants throw little pups out like spider plants throw little pups out like crazy. So don't be stressed if you think you're like killing the puppet. This is one of the easier plants to propagate. And if you guys like this video and comment down below and let me know that you would like a propagation video, then I'll definitely do that for you. So we're gonna go ahead and break off some of this because we're gonna fit it into a different style pot. This is more tapered at the bottom. So we're gonna bring this off just a little bit. So what we wanna do is just kind of test how is this gonna sit in our pot here. That's pretty good. So we wanna backfill with a little bit. I'm gonna use this soil. The plant's already used to growing in this. It feels and looks like a decent mix, so we're gonna go ahead and use this. We are going to place our root ball in here, see if we're at the right height. Might be a little high here. Yeah, we're a little high here, so we're gonna dump some out. And we are going to, there we go, that feels good. It's like Marie Kondo. Does it feel good? Does it spark joy? Okay, we're gonna pot the rest of this in here. Backfill with the plant or the soil that we already have used. Make sure to cover up all the roots. I'm gonna sink this down just a little bit lower. And this is in a good spot now to more aesthetically grow itself to a beautiful, beautiful spider plant. So this is where I am very, very pleased with it. Very pleased with it, in fact. Feels like a kind of a peat heavy mix here. So we'll have to monitor our watering, but I'm very pleased with how this looks. We may have wanted to sink this down just a little bit more. I can compress the roots a little bit, it'll be okay. But I think that looks pretty darn good. So let's give it a quick little rinse, quick little water in. Make sure you give it a good soak, and then we're gonna polish it off and take a look at our final product. If you would like to know more container watering techniques, I do have an entire 20-minute video on the different things you have to consider when you are watering your container plants. But for now, all we need to know about this guy, we just caused some serious stress to the plant by transplanting it and massaging the roots around a little bit and of course cutting off a lot of the plant matter above these leaves. So we want to give it a nice healthy water, help this soil really form up tightly around the roots, no air pockets. And it's okay to overwater in a terracotta with a saucer pot with a drainage hole, because not only is the water going to escape the sides here, but it's also going to drain out the bottom if there's too much. So I just want to make sure I completely saturate this so that I know I didn't underwater. And you can see we're getting some water coming out of the bottom, or you can't see, but you're just gonna have to trust me. You can see it kind of dripping out there. So I know I'm at a good spot. I can stop. We can just go ahead and clean this up and look at how it looks as a final product. Here we have our final product, at least for now. We're gonna come back in a couple of weeks and see if it has taken to its new pot, right? What's up, guys? It's been 10-ish days or so. Spider plant is clearly looking better. It is looking actually really good. But instead of just saying it looks better and saying, voila, video's done, let's take a really close look at the new growth and what's going on with this plant. So the first thing I notice is this little offshoot coming out, as well as this larger one coming out here. So these are both potential ones to propagate in the future, but just a good sign that the plant has recovered from its heavy prune. Now, up here we can see new growth coming out here, here. There's more stuff coming out over here as well. And so the plant has really rejuvenated itself, looking nice and green, no damage, no issues on any of the leaf tips at all. And so I'm very, very pleased with how this resurrection process turned out. So there we have it. We've brought this spider plant back from the brink of death. So if you have a plant that is kind of looking worse for the wear, maybe a friend gave it to you and it's just not really doing that well, at least give it a shot. At least try to bring it back. And you saw, we cut a lot of it back and we really kind of manhandled it, and it has come back more than ever. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have a plant that you brought back from the brink of death, let me know in the comments below. But until next time, keep on growing, and I will see you on the next video.